Today, 1 week following the second Trump administration government shutdown, we are faced with terrible consequences. From threats to our air travel security, mass layoffs, and more. So the question becomes, what is the shutdown about? Is it really worth the cost? And how far are politicians willing to go to fight for what they want to accomplish? We'll be covering this today and more in today's episode, so stay tuned. I'm Daniel Rivera Jr., and you're watching Rights Watch. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And before we begin, I have a few announcements. First, it's that we are nearing 200 subscribers on YouTube. I know it might not seem like much, but we are nearing 45,000 views overall. So trust me, it's a step in the right direction to spreading our message. So what we are doing here on this channel not only gives a voice to the workforce of the American people, but we also bring a refreshing perspective on different topics. We're not just trying to buy into one side of the aisle, but look outside the box and see what's happening. Celebrate the good and call out the bad. So if you want less divisive content and a more unifying message, please help us do that by subscribing to our YouTube channel, turn on the notification button, and follow us on social media. It truly helps us to keep going. Secondly, I am excited to announce that we're taking our podcast beyond the YouTubes and Facebooks and TikToks, as now you will be able to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and soon everywhere else you enjoy listening to your podcast. So please make sure to check us out over there. Lastly, our channel has been taking different forms, from legal analysis with labor attorneys such as Andrew Weeks over at Rights Watch, to taking on guests from the community with impactful, relevant stories over at our stories segment, to now a more broad and moderate political commentary from a believer's perspective in a segment that we are going to call Grounded. All of these segments have one thing in common and in mind: to talk about what are the best interests of the Americans, to bring a voice to the American people about the American workforce, and to talk about how faith and our relationship with God relate to these topics and more. In order to unify all of this content into one cohesive place, we are going to consider consolidating the podcast into one name. So I need your help as an active part of this community. You can share your thoughts on how you would like to see us moving forward. I appreciate all of your comments, and with your help, we will make this the best show out there, not for a few, but for all. All right. So to start the show today, I want to welcome our first time guest, Mr. Gabriel Witt. He is the co-chair for the Citizens and Legislative Committee of the UAW Local 862. Gabriel, it's so nice to have you here on the show.
Hey, thanks, Danny. I appreciate you having me out. Like you said, I'm the co-chair of the Citizen Legislation Committee for the UAW. And what we're doing is we try to vet politicians so that we can help fund campaigns to try to support people that are going to support labor. And we try to get out and have some activity within our communities to try to help anybody that is going to support the union agenda, to help the middle class. So we try to find ways and new creative ways to get out there and show some support.
Right. I appreciate you coming in and bringing a voice out there. As unions, we have to stick together. And I think unions are wonderful at doing that. You're with the UAW, I'm with AFG, but at the end of the day, we're all one. We're all one union. We're all defending the rights of the individual people, our members that we represent. And at the end of the day, we're fighting for workers' rights. So I really appreciate the work that you guys do. and your commitment to always working with other unions side by side for the benefit of the people. So thank you so much for that, brother.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, solidarity is key. That's the backbone of it all. That's the backbone of the American middle class, to be honest with you. So, if we don't stand together, it seems to be you guys today, and if we don't stand in solidarity with you guys now, if it's us tomorrow, we can't expect you guys to stand with us and join our fight. So think all being members under the AFL-CIO, it's our obligation and duties to try to stand with one another. When one takes a hit, we all take a hit, and so I think that is the most important thing we can do as unions, sticking together.
That's right. And now more than ever, we are facing united and collectively, not just one particular union, but I think collectively we're all facing one giant threat, right? And unfortunately, it's within our government. The people that are running currently our government, they are the most anti-worker government that we have ever faced in our country. And this is something that you and I share commonly because we are in this fight together. And I've often said in this show that the attacks on federal employees are not just attacks on the federal workforce. I mean, they're only starting with the people that they can easily control, so that eventually it will trickle down to the private sector as well. As a union for private sector employees, what are your thoughts on how this administration impacts private sectors and potentially your members?
Well, I mean, I think the GOP and Republicans, as a rule, have been against collective bargaining agreements across the board. If they could get rid of all of us, they would, and that would prefer. They've got billionaire donors that want to see the end of us not being able to band together and get what's due to us. I mean, collecting bargaining agreements, I mean, they give us a seat at the table, right? I mean, they allow us to have health and safety in our plants. They allow us to gain profit sharing or negotiate pay raises when companies and businesses are enormously profitable, and if we lose that, we kind of lose everything. We will just be completely at their mercy. And so they push a lot of bills. I've seen since my time of coming out of high school, entering the workforce, and joining unions out the gate, is you saw bills like right to work was pushed through, from the GOP, and it was at a state level, and that did irreparable damage to unions all across the country. And then even this year, you see Rand Paul and Ted Cruz entering in bills, the national right to work, which is just a flat union killing, private or not. It's all across the board. So, with
Union busting.
yeah, with the Trump administration coming in and trying to do what they're doing with you guys, it will be us next. It will be all of us next if we don't stop it now and say that this is not okay. This is just another one of the things that's happening in our world that is absolutely not okay. And so I mean, I'm hoping, and I'm calling on all my union sisters and brothers out there that, even if you're not with the AFGE, if you don't stand up and fight now, it's going to be too much. It'll be too much when it does hit you. There will be nothing to do to stop it. So, I mean, it's a scary, scary time for middle America. It really is.
It sure is, and it's surprising because this administration. Well, it's not surprising for us because I think us that work with unions and work for the working people saw this miles away. But for the private citizens that voted for Trump, a lot of them bought into this narrative that Trump was the person for the working people.
Right.
And we're talking about a person who hasn't worked a day in his life, that his favorite catchphrase was "You're fired."
Right.
And right now he's in a position where he's never liked any kind of dissent on his personal life, on his businesses, on anything that he's done. And now he wants to treat America like his own personal business. so he can do whatever he wants with us. It's not just federal employees. It'll trickle down, like you said, it'll trickle down to the private sector eventually, because we're seeing small little things that this administration's doing, testing out. It's like a little child. Gabriel, I don't know if you see it this way, but I don't know if you have kids or not, but kids typically will put their hands on something and they'll test you. They'll see. I got two little daughters and one on the way.
Right.
And they'll test you. They'll put their hand on something. You say, "Don't put your hand on there."
Right.
And they'll see how far they can go before you react. So this government's trying to see how far they can get against the working people, and their ultimate goal is for us to not have any rights, any workplace protections, any workplace rights, and it is very unfortunate, like you said, that it is one of the biggest, well, not biggest, but it is a trend that the GOP has followed throughout the years. It's being against the unions and being against American workers, right?
Right. Yeah. No. You can see the evidence of that by looking who he appoints for the National Labor Relation Board. I mean, they're appointing appointees that are lawyers that have been designed just to flat destroy unions. Everybody wants to talk about the Trump policy and how it was going to be good, and that's why they voted for him, not the way he talks or all the crazy. But if you look at policies, you look at the bills, look at the big beautiful bill, and have your opinions on Biden. But he was one of the strongest union presidents there was, because when he pushed a bill, when his legislation it came through, it was give tax incentives to products made in the USA, built with union labor. And now, Trump's bills is give the top 1% $1 trillion in tax cut that they weren't getting previously. It's like, you're going to see the separation of wealth. I mean, that gap is going to gain by leaps and bounds, and that's exactly what they wanted, and you're really going to see a lot of hits. So, anybody can get up behind a podium and try to say, yeah, we support unions and we support the middle class, but it's like, what are you actually doing? Who are you appointing? What is your party? What kind of bills are they pushing? What are they backing? That is where the real meat of what you're doing for America is really being shown. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's what they do. They try to cut as much as they can possibly cut, and it's our responsibility to stand up and say that that's too much. It's too far. You've got to share some of it with us, the people that are making the products, the people that are doing the work. And so just a sad time.
It is, and you said something really important. And it's that this administration looks after tax cuts for the rich, the top 1%, right?
Right.
Now, I see it in more than one way. So we've got tax cuts for the rich, but there's also cuts that this administration is looking for in like operational cost. And you and I very well know that the way that agencies typically cut operation costs and increase their profits is by going around different things, like, for example, different safety measures that might be put in place, and they don't care putting people at risk. They don't care about putting people's health at risk, people's safeties at risk. As long as it saves them a buck, they'll do whatever it takes to increase their profit margins. And I know a lot of UAW members work in very places where it is very dangerous workplace environments. And if there's no safety measures in place, it's a life and death situation in a lot of these. So this government's not just looking to cut or taxes for the rich, but it's also wanting to give the rich the flexibility to increase their profit margins by not caring about the safety of their employees. And the only way they can do that is by getting rid of the unions. And it's such it's a trickling down effect. It's a trickling down effect, and eventually it's gonna get us all. So more than ever, people need to be unionized. People need to stay in unions. People need to stand together and tell the places that they work for, their agencies, I will not stand for this, and I have people that will represent me on my behalf. So now I know that you had a couple questions for us, Gabriel. So I'm just going to give you the chance to ask the questions and see how we can answer them for you.
Yeah, I mean, so you made a good point. You know, some of the first thing he attacked was OSHA, right? And dropping the EPA, which makes where our factories are going to be dumping and polluting our rivers and creeks and lakes. I mean, and getting into water supply. So I just kind of you know, being here, we're out of Louisville, we're based out of Louisville, and I know that you guys have taken some hits in your departments, and I kind of was hoping to hear some of the hardships directly that you guys have been dealing with. I mean, you know, because sometimes it's easy when it's just a construct, an idea, you hear about it, but you don't actually have to see the faces or hear the stories of the people that are actually affected by what you're hearing in the news. So, I mean, who do you guys have any hardships locally that of people that's dealing with things?
Absolutely. So we're seeing it through parts. So one of the parts that it's being felt across the board is the demoralization of our workforce, and I just want to start there because our people that are in charge, they don't care about how their workers feel. They don't care if they feel demoralized. They don't care if they don't feel good in their workplace environments. They don't care if they feel safe in their workplace environments. And what this administration has done by taking away their unions, they're sending out a message that says, you are not safe in your work environment, and we will go after you, and we will do whatever it takes to accomplish our mission, even at the cost of even your own legal rights, right? So that's the first part is our members, and we have a resilient membership, and we have members that have stayed there and that they are holding the line, and we are so grateful for them because we are paying a price right now, but we are confident that we are going to get out of this victorious. So that's the first part. Then now the second part is the at least in the Department of Veteran Affairs, which is the agency that I work with, that we've lost the ability to enforce our contracts. So this administration, essentially, they said we are not going to honor the contract. We are not going to follow the contract. Every MOU that's ever been negotiated, everything that's ever been done, none of it. We're getting rid of everything. Nobody has right. And they've taken away bargaining rights out of our members. Now, this is important because can they do this? That's the first part. Can they do this? Well, he's testing the waters right now, and it's yet to be seen because it's in the legal system, and it's in the courts that's being appealed, and we'll see the effects of this hopefully pretty soon. But right now, I know that there's been other agencies that did lose their bargaining rights, like the TSA, for example, who got their bargaining rights back, and other agencies that shared the same fate. And the trend that we've been seeing is that they have been getting their bargaining rights restored. But right now, it's an immediate effect on our members, because right now what agencies are doing is they're taking up the opportunity to start targeting people that they wanted to target for a long time that they couldn't because unions were fighting for them. And they are targeting these people to essentially fire them, right? And I see this as a rush for them because I think they know that the contracts are coming back. So they're kind of trying to rush, and they're trying to get rid of as many people as they can. We have threats of a RIF. We have threats of people that are being gonna be laid off for one reason or another. And these are all things that were negotiated under the contracts, and now they pretty much are trying to make us at-will employees in the federal government. So how does this affect our people in our unions right now? Is that right now people are fearing for their jobs, right? And I've never felt a fear for my job. I've never felt a fear as a federal employee of not having job security, Gabriel, because I would consider myself a good employee. I've never had any issues within my own departments. I've spent many years within my agencies without really any kind of issues, and then and still I never felt a fear that I could lose my job. And now even now that I'm still working, I'm still a good employee, I still do the right things, it makes me fearful, right? That they can retaliate at any point against me because of my affiliation with the unions,
Right.
and they can fire me for just about any reason, any right. So yes, that's the second part of the immediate effects that we are feeling in our union. And then the third one is the loss of many of our members who have bought into the narrative that they don't have a union anymore. And I just want to make this clear because what they did, Gabriel, is that they sold this loss of bargaining union rights as, oh, now you're gonna be better off without the unions. We're gonna be able to promote you better. We're gonna be able to do all these wonderful things that we weren't able to do before. We can hire better. We can promote better. We're more flexible with schedules, with leave, with all these different things. Guess what? They're not.
Right.
If anything, it's made it worse, right?
Right.
If anything, before we had these protections, they were there for a reason, and now they're not. So if it ever trickles down to the private sector, and what I fear for other union members, if they lose their bargaining rights, is that agencies will make you the promise. So for any UAW member out there that's listening that may be considering, do I want to stay in? Do I not want to stay in? Listen to this. The agencies will promise you that they will do better. They're better off without unions. They do all these crazy promises. At the end of the day, they do not follow even their own policies. And we see this as union representatives day in and day out whenever they do not want to follow their own policies with the unions in place. What makes us think that without the unions, they're going to start all of a sudden following their own policies? They won't.
Right.
They refuse to hear grievances, even through their own internal grievance processes. And I can tell you this firsthand.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So these are all things that effects that have come down as a result of this current administration and our federal government, for our federal employees. Hopefully this will be reversed like the trend has been showing. And hopefully we will be able to hold the line so that this doesn't trickle down to our private sector.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they see the numbers, right? I mean, that's the only thing they respond to. If they see that we are going to stand up and we're going to fight, and there's enough of us that is going to be a problem, then they start backtracking a little bit, and they start seeing that they've got to. But you nailed it earlier. They're going to see what they can get away with, and it's going to be up to us to pull together and stick tight and give them some serious pushback.
Absolutely. And strength is in numbers, and union members have to understand that the more numbers that we have, really, it helps unions keep the fight alive. So people have to stand their ground and keep their memberships. Now, talking about strength in numbers and what members can do, there's an upcoming No Kings rally that's being organized. So why don't you share it with us some information about this?
Yeah, so happening all over the country. The No Kings. You can go to the No Kings protest website, but here in Louisville, I know that we are coming down in support of AFGE. The UAW wants to stand with you guys in solidarity to say, take all the other issues, divisive issues that there are, to separate all of us and say the collective bargaining is that if you continue to push that, we're all going to stand up and fight against that. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of my UAW brothers and sisters out there. I'm hoping to see many of the AFGEs. I know AFL-CIO is getting involved, and I think that's 55 unions here in Louisville that are all underneath their umbrella. So I mean, I know that this shouldn't be, unions and collective bargaining agreements and doing the right by workers. Period. I mean, that shouldn't be one of these issues that we have to try to figure out. Both parties should be supporting this. Both parties should be behind doing right by the people that are making this thing run. That are having to do what we do. I mean, it blows my mind. And I really hope people keep this stuff in mind when it comes to, the midterm elections that we have coming up. I hope that, you know, we are we are keeping in mind labor friendly politicians across the board for everything voted in all the way around. I mean, labor should have a seat at the table in all places, and we should let them know that we're watching, we're paying attention to the things that they're doing, and if they want to continue getting reelected in their areas, I mean, we need to do that. And one of the things is we have to make sure we show up at the voting polls. We have to really be active and go out and do that. Like to take an opportunity to kind of plug that as well. This is National Voter Education Registration Education Week, and there's a lot of good information on vote411.org that will give a lot of information if you're one of the people that found yourself not so motivated, didn't know the right thing to do on the last one. I think now you probably do. And so if you need to get signed up, if you need to make sure that you get out there, that website has a lot of helpful information. A lot of people don't know, if you don't sign, that you're going to be Democrat or Republican. If you just check others, you won't get invited to vote during the primaries, which is vital as well too. I mean, so
Yes.
we really need people to show up. We really need labor people to show up and hold these politicians accountable when they come for us like this. So I
Right.
mean, yeah,
Like I say often on this show, it's not about politics. It's not about one side or the other. It's about the people, and we
right,
need people in these positions that are up for labor.
right,
I don't know why anybody anywhere in the world would be against labor other than either you don't have a job
right,
or you
right,
have you're in a position where you're a leader of a multi million or billion-dollar corporation
right,
where it benefits you. Other than that, there's no benefit to having anti worker people in these positions. So at the end of the day, we have to vote with our minds, not with our not just with our hearts. Many people go off based on what they're being told. Let's use our minds. Let's put our minds to good use. Let's study the people that are running and who are up for labor, because at the end of the day, that's what runs America. It's labor. Labor is at the heart of America. Labor is what gets America running. Labor is what moves the economy,
mm,
and our American workforce are the people that need the biggest protections, not the millionaires that are up in these
agreed,
positions.
agreed.
It's the people that are putting out the work that need to be protected. So, Gabriel, thank you so much again. When is the No Kings protest?
So it will be at the Belvedere, which is downtown, next to the Galt House. It'll be on October the 18th from 2 to 5 p.m. The address is 141 North 6th Street. So we really hope to see a big union presence, and come out and stand with your brothers and sisters who are going through it right now. So thank you for having me on, Danny. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Gabriel, and thanks for all the work you're doing, brother. We'll see you there.
See you, buddy.